I think the people will at some point realize that en masse, they have far more power than any upper echelon, uber rich, bajillionaire. The people, because listen, the people have the power to stop buying their products. They have the power to not listen to, this rhetoric, and the power. So, it's people like Gene Smith and many like him that I admire for continuing forward, for fighting the fight.
There are actors who spend their entire careers becoming famous for one unforgettable role. And then there are actors who spend their lives becoming someone new with every performance. Johnny Depp belongs to the second group. For more than 4 decades, audiences have watched him transform again and again. Not just through costumes, not just through makeup, but through completely different ways of thinking, speaking, moving, and expressing emotion. It's almost as if each new character erased the one that came before it. That raises an interesting question. How does someone keep reinventing themselves without losing who they are? For many performers, success creates a strange kind of pressure. Once a particular role becomes popular, studios often want more of the same. Audiences become familiar with a certain image. Producers see less risk in repeating a proven formula. Over time, many actors become closely associated with one style of performance. But Johnny Depp repeatedly chose another direction. Rather than protecting a single-screen identity, he seemed drawn toward change itself. Every new project became an opportunity to explore unfamiliar territory. A lonely inventor's creation, an eccentric pirate, a mysterious barber, an imaginative chocolatier, a determined gangster. Each role required a completely different creative approach. The similarities were almost impossible to find. This wasn't simply a collection of unusual characters. It reflected a larger philosophy, the belief that creativity grows through transformation. Long before he became one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces, Depp's interests extended beyond acting alone. Music played an important role in his early life. Art, literature, and storytelling became lasting sources of inspiration. These influences encouraged curiosity rather than repetition. Instead of asking how to become a bigger star, his career choices often suggested another question. What haven't I explored yet? That single question has the power to change an entire career. Because curiosity pushes people beyond comfort. It invites experimentation. It welcomes uncertainty. Most importantly, it creates room for growth. Looking back across Johnny Depp's filmography, one pattern appears again and again. He rarely allowed previous success to determine his next creative decision. Instead, each new role offered another chance to discover something different. Sometimes that meant working with visionary directors. Sometimes it meant choosing independent productions over predictable commercial projects. Sometimes it meant creating characters unlike anything audiences had seen before. Those choices were not always the easiest. Creative risks never come with guarantees. Some films become classics. Others find appreciation years later. A few remain hidden treasures, known only to dedicated film lovers. But taken together, they reveal something remarkable. Johnny Depp never seemed interested in standing still. His career has been defined by movement, by evolution, by the willingness to become someone different every time the camera started rolling. And perhaps that willingness to change is the real secret behind his lasting influence. Because audiences weren't simply watching another actor perform. They were watching an artist continue to reinvent himself. As we explore this extraordinary journey, we'll discover that Johnny Depp's transformations weren't driven by the pursuit of fame alone. They were driven by something much deeper. A lifelong commitment to curiosity, creativity, and the courage to embrace change. One of the greatest challenges any successful actor faces is expectation. The moment audiences fall in love with a particular performance, the pressure to repeat it begins. Hollywood has always rewarded familiarity. If one role becomes a success, studios naturally hope the next film will capture that same magic. It is a system built on predictability. But creativity rarely grows through predictability. Looking at Johnny Depp's career, it's clear that he understood this early on. Instead of becoming comfortable with one image, he consistently searched for opportunities that challenged him. This mindset became one of the defining characteristics of his career. Every new project was treated as a fresh beginning, not a continuation of what had already worked. One of the earliest examples came after his rise to fame through television. His popularity could easily have led him toward years of similar leading man roles. Many actors would have accepted that path. It offered stability, recognition, commercial success. Instead, Depp gradually moved toward films that allowed him to disappear inside completely different personalities. Rather than asking, "Will audiences recognize me?" he seemed more interested in asking, "Will audiences believe this character?" That difference changed everything. Transformation became more important than visibility. The audience wasn't meant to see Johnny Depp. They were meant to see someone entirely new. This philosophy required extraordinary attention to detail. Creating a believable character involves much more than learning dialogue. Every decision matters. The way a character walks, the rhythm of their speech, the way they pause before answering a question, the expressions they make without saying a single word. These small details gradually create an entirely new person. Johnny Depp has often been praised for this level of transformation. Many of his characters can be identified instantly, not because of special effects, but because each one possesses a unique personality. Their voices differ. Their movements differ. Even their silence feels different. That kind of originality cannot be created overnight. It develops through careful observation. Artists often collect inspiration from everyday life. A conversation overheard in a cafe, an old photograph, a historical figure, a musician's stage presence, a sentence from a novel. Every experience becomes another creative resource. Nothing is wasted. Everything has the potential to inspire. This habit of constant observation explains why Johnny Depp's performances often feel layered. Each character appears to carry a complete history, even when audiences see only a small part of their story. That depth creates authenticity. Another fascinating aspect of Depp's creative evolution is his willingness to work with directors who encourage experimentation. Some filmmakers prefer predictable performances. Others invite actors to explore unexpected possibilities. Throughout his career, Depp has collaborated with directors known for imaginative storytelling and distinctive visual styles. Those partnerships created environments where originality was encouraged rather than restricted. Creative collaboration is an important lesson in itself. Growth rarely happens in isolation. Artists improve by working with people who challenge their ideas, who ask better questions, who introduce different perspectives. Johnny Depp's willingness to embrace those collaborations demonstrates another key principle of reinvention. Change doesn't happen alone. It often happens through shared creativity. Perhaps that is why his career has remained so difficult to predict. Each collaboration introduced new ideas. Each project expanded his artistic vocabulary. Each experience became preparation for the next transformation. Instead of protecting a fixed identity, he continued building a creative one. And that distinction may explain why audiences continue to revisit his performances years after they first appeared. They aren't simply watching familiar movies. They're watching the evolution of an artist who refused to remain the same. As we continue this journey, we'll move beyond the film set to discover another reason Johnny Depp has been able to reinvent himself so many times. The answer lies not only in acting, but in the creative life he built away from the camera. If transformation only happened on a movie set, it would eventually become predictable. A great actor might master dozens of characters, but without new ideas, those performances could begin to feel familiar. What keeps creativity alive is everything that happens away from the camera. This is where Johnny Depp's story becomes especially interesting. Throughout his career, acting has been only one part of a much larger creative life. Music has remained a constant passion. Painting has offered another form of artistic expression. Books, art, and history have continued to shape his imagination. These interests may seem separate from filmmaking. In reality, they are deeply connected. Every creative discipline teaches something different. Music teaches rhythm. Painting teaches observation. Literature teaches empathy. History teaches perspective. When those lessons come together, they create an artist capable of seeing the world in new ways. Perhaps this is one reason Johnny Depp's performances rarely feel repetitive. He isn't drawing inspiration from acting alone. He is constantly adding new influences to his creative world. Imagine preparing for a role without limiting yourself to the script. Instead, you listen to music that matches the character's emotions. You study paintings that capture a certain mood. You read books that reveal another way of thinking. You observe the people around you. Every experience adds another layer. By the time filming begins, the character already feels alive. This kind of preparation requires curiosity. And curiosity has always been one of the strongest themes in Johnny Depp's career. Curious people never stop asking questions. What happens if I try something different? What can I learn from another artist? How would this character see the world? Those questions lead to originality. Without curiosity, creativity eventually becomes repetition. There is another important lesson hidden inside this process. Reinvention is not about abandoning who you are. It is about expanding who you can become. Many people fear change because they believe it means losing their identity. Artists often discover the opposite. Every new experience adds another dimension to their identity. Learning music doesn't replace acting. Painting doesn't replace storytelling. Reading doesn't replace imagination. Each one strengthens the others. Johnny Depp's career reflects that philosophy beautifully. He has never appeared interested in choosing only one creative path. Instead, he has allowed different passions to exist side by side. That openness has given him a remarkable ability to continue evolving over the years. Another quality that stands out is patience. Real transformation doesn't happen overnight. An artist isn't reinvented by a single decision. Growth happens gradually. One project, one lesson, one experience at a time. Looking back over decades of Johnny Depp's work, his evolution becomes much easier to see. It wasn't sudden. It was continuous. Every role taught something new. Every collaboration expanded his perspective. Every creative interest added another layer to his artistic identity. This is perhaps the biggest difference between changing your image and changing yourself. An image can change with a new haircut or a different costume. Real transformation happens internally. It changes the way you think, the way you observe, the way you create. Johnny Depp's journey reminds us that lasting reinvention begins long before anyone else notices it. It starts quietly, with curiosity, with learning, with the courage to leave familiar territory behind. Those invisible changes eventually become visible to the world. And that's why his career feels less like a series of separate performances and more like the ongoing evolution of a lifelong artist. As we move into the final chapter of this documentary, one question remains. What is the greatest lesson we can learn from Johnny Depp's remarkable ability to change himself again and again? The answer reaches far beyond Hollywood. It speaks to anyone who wants to keep growing, creating, and discovering new possibilities throughout life. As we reach the end of this journey, one truth stands above everything else. Johnny Depp's story is not simply about becoming famous. It's about refusing to become predictable. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated that real success isn't built by repeating yesterday's achievements. It's built by remaining open to tomorrow's possibilities. Every transformation we've explored began with a choice. The choice to stay curious. The choice to take creative risks. The choice to continue learning, even after achieving worldwide recognition. Those decisions shaped far more than a collection of memorable performances. They shaped an artistic philosophy. A philosophy that values exploration over comfort, growth over routine, originality over imitation. Looking back across decades of work, it's remarkable how few of Johnny Depp's characters resemble one another. Each one carries a different voice, a different posture, a different emotional rhythm, a different way of seeing the world. That variety wasn't accidental. It came from a commitment to understanding people rather than simply performing for them. Great artists rarely stop observing. They notice details others overlook. A person's laughter, the hesitation before answering a difficult question, the confidence hidden behind silence, the emotions expressed without words. These small observations become the foundation of unforgettable characters. Johnny Depp's creative journey reminds us that transformation doesn't happen through appearance alone. It begins with perspective. Change the way you observe the world, and eventually, you change the way you create within it. This lesson reaches far beyond acting. Every profession rewards people who continue evolving. A writer grows by reading widely. A musician grows by listening deeply. A filmmaker grows by studying life itself. An entrepreneur grows by embracing new ideas instead of clinging to old ones. Growth is not reserved for artists. It's available to anyone willing to remain curious. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden inside Johnny Depp's remarkable career. Reinvention isn't about becoming someone else. It's about discovering new parts of yourself that were waiting to be explored. Every new experience expands your imagination. Every challenge strengthens your perspective. Every mistake teaches something success never could. That is why creative people never truly stop growing. They understand that every ending is also another beginning, another opportunity, another question waiting to be answered. Johnny Depp's career reflects this beautifully. He didn't build his legacy by standing still. He built it by continuing to move, continuing to learn, continuing to create, again and again. Perhaps that's why audiences remain fascinated by his work. Not because they know exactly what to expect, but because they don't. Every new role carries the possibility of another transformation, another unexpected performance, another reminder that creativity has no final destination, only new directions. So maybe the real story isn't that Johnny Depp changed himself again and again. Maybe the real story is that he never stopped allowing himself to change. And perhaps that's a lesson all of us can carry into our own lives. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep questioning. Because the moment we believe we've finished growing, we stop discovering who we might become. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the many transformations of Johnny Depp. If you enjoyed this documentary, share your thoughts in the comments. Which Johnny Depp transformation impressed you the most and why? If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more documentary stories exploring the lives, careers, and creative journeys of cinema's most remarkable artists. Until next time, stay curious, keep evolving, and never be afraid to become a new version of yourself.